Hello Forexers and welcome to this weekly Forex forecast for the major currency pairs, oil, gold and silver. So currently, what are we seeing? We're seeing the election come in a couple of days. We have Brexit in the UK. We have potential more rate cuts in Europe, maybe more stimulus in Europe. We also have negative rates, maybe talks other places. So we have large news events. So what do we do? Well, let's break it down with some trade plans and some knowledge. My name is Ewinningstrategy. I'm a Forex trader. I'm an economist. I am here to help you make sense of all this nonsense and for you to hopefully becoming a better Forex trader. Trading Forex is risky, not appropriate for everyone. Past performance is not indicative of future results. Whatever has happened in the past doesn't need to happen in the future. But also, don't risk money you can't afford to lose. And they can be gone tomorrow. Both because there's election, but also generally speaking. So, what do you need to do now? Maybe you need to reduce your risk. Maybe you should stay away from the market because what's going to happen in election day, whenever there is someone being elected, well, it's going to be a lot of fluctuation. So be careful. Be careful. I want you to stay there because the election day is not the most important day. That's not where the pips is. The pips is in the days and weeks and months after the election. Why? First of all, the election. Why does it move so much? It's computers. It's also because of banks, liquidity providers, the big boys, get out of the markets. We have also seen that in the COT report I'm going to go through. Okay? Now, trade plans. Straightforward. Nothing else. What do you see here? That is a buy zone. Okay? We are at support. Are you going to buy at support? Probably not. Why? Because it's a lower low. Okay? Chill, mate. This one can fall and fall and fall. Also, depending who wins the US election, this US dollar thing is going to move it. Okay? So, how can you then deal with this uncertainty? You might want to stay away, but also you need pullbacks. You still need an uptrend, you need a higher high, you need a pullback. Either on a 1 hour, on a 15 minutes, on a whatever, I don't really care. Whatever you find it, but this is not bullish, okay? This is still a sell. Technically speaking, today, right now. Now, it comes down to what do I think is going to happen in the US election? And I'm thinking I should go through that tomorrow. I still want to hold that information for myself a bit more because there's others that needs the information before you because they paid for that. So whatever I think is going to happen, I will keep that for myself. But you can't in this situation buy. You can only look for sells, but it might also, generally speaking, just go fast down to a target zone and then back up, potentially. Or the opposite. Okay? So, if you get engaged this week, the target for this week is 1860. The target for sellers is 1533. Okay? Have those prices in mind. And if market goes fast up, does it reverse? Does market go fast down? Does it reverse? That we don't know. But what I do know is target zones, TP, is important. Support and resistance is not important when we have fast market moves. Okay? Also, you have to make up your own opinion about where dollar is going to move. So if it goes against you, cool. Get out. Have your stop loss. But you're going to see increased margin requirement. So you need more money in your account to hold this in position. There's high spreads. There is likeliness of slippage. Slippage is when Market falls and you try to get out, but you can't because there's no buyers when it's falling. So you are increasing your potential to lose more. Okay. Who is trading mostly the news? Robots, and they are much faster than you. I'm sorry. So what do? We wait for opportunities. We have made a plan, and we take it down or take it up depending on what you want, and we play around those target areas. Okay, cool. Where do you keep your stop loss? I don't know if you want to have 10 pips or if you want 100 pips. That all comes down to your strategy. What do? I'm going to increase my stop loss, but also lower my lot size. Okay. I forgot to do the COT report for Euro. The COT report for Euro is 10K minus. What does that mean? That means buyers took profit. Buyers took profit here. And then we have fallen ever since. Does that make any sense? Yes, it does. Because that was a TP zone. So a lot of buyers took profit. Also, generally speaking, for the COT, the results of that was where you look at what hedge fund managers does. It's normally TP. They actually got out of the market. Okay, have that in mind. If hedge fund managers take profit, gets out of the market before a news event, should you trade a news event or should you follow them? Okay, so I would call that very, I wouldn't call it significant, but it's noteworthy. It's a very important piece of information that I just gave to you in terms of what they are doing and what potentially you also should be doing. Okay. So target for buyers this week is 31.10. I would wait up here to see what happens around here. If price goes down, I would wait for what happens down here and see if that makes any sense. If it reverses, if it just goes, I don't care. But I want to wait on run those prices. Am I going to trade this? No. So for G, there was more sellers coming in or buyers taking profit this week. Yeah. But this is bullish, this is bearish. What is it? I think this is normally just a range. Okay? Take away my pivot points. Doesn't really matter. Okay? Just pure pivot point less chart. That's not trending. Okay? Do we have a break up? Do we have breakdown? I don't know. But I've told my mentorship students what I think. And I also said to you, look at what happens around the target areas. Okay? Maybe that's the best opportunity you have. Do you have the best opportunity to try to catch the move going against millisecond traders? Maybe not. Then we can go to GJ. Okay. Same thing. Well, this could be a buy area, by the way. Could be a buy area. That's cool. That's good. The other thing to this one is target areas of 37.60 and 33.60. Look to what happens here. I have no trade plan for you at the moment. I will probably make up a trade plan. Maybe we'll make a video of that after the election. Maybe a day after the election to see where we're going. And then just trade that. So right now, pause, wait, see. You might be lucky. So yeah, you never know. That's a buy zone. And that's a sell zone, generally speaking. Does normal, generally speaking, things work? We shall see. We shall see. I also think, generally speaking, I want this generally to go up. But it also depends who wins the election. So all of these things I mentioned now, all these pairs I mentioned now, does get affected by the US election. Okay. And Japanese, had more buyers coming in, which makes this one fall. And G had more sellers coming in, so this should fall, and it fell. Probably okay. For gold, I have a couple of things to say here. First of all, for gold, we had, was it gold that had massive? No, it wasn't massive on gold. But which we have seen, we have taken profit. Taking profit, taking profit, taking profit. Okay, getting out, getting out, getting out. Waiting to see what happened and then react of what happens. Again, very interesting. Okay. And this kind of area, what does this tell you? If you're a buyer, do you think that's a good place to buy? Why wouldn't you like price to be here so you can have a higher high, higher low? If you're a seller, is this a good place to sell? Back down at support. So I would call this no man's land? No man's land. I would say for this upcoming week, the market has positioned itself into this kind of a question, this kind of emoji. What? Question mark. That's how I see the market. And when the market says, I don't know, you tell me. I'm not going to force the market to tell me what to do, because it already told me it doesn't know what to do. And as everyone in life knows, if you're trying to make someone do something they don't know what to do, you're not going to make them do it. Okay? So anything between 1850, give or take, and 1900, look what happened. But also look what happens in 2000. Just a precaution. Okay? So I would say, as a thing for you, round numbers. Okay? That means 2000, 1900, 1950, 1800, 1850. Okay? For every $50 per ounce, or whatever it is a level to look out for. Okay? Do I have a direction here? No. Do I want you to trade it? It's up to you. I can't make you do anything because it's not financial advice. I also say the market is kind of sideways. It doesn't really know what to do. Should you be trading such a kind of market? Probably not. Let's move on to the next one. But I might have a much better idea after the election. I can tell you something better. But you should have an idea before the election. No, I shouldn't have an idea before the election. But what I should have before the election, a trade plan. I also hope you have made a trade plan, have gone through the different scenarios, what I said before, and what you might probably want to see. And if you haven't been trading a US election before, and I say you have to trade upon what market conditions you like and want, and what market conditions really you thrive in, should you then be trading a market that you have never traded in? Apart from that, I do see the same thing in silver. But I'm not sure who it was. Maybe it was Morgan Stanley that said silver's going up. Okay. I don't know if they said about the same thing about gold. But let's say they said that. Do you think that will happen? That Morgan Stanley said it's going to go up, or was it JP Morgan? I'm not sure. So one of the big ones, or it was actually Goldman Sachs. Anyways, doesn't matter. Point being, wait for a clear trend, wait for better market conditions, and hope for it to go higher. Whenever you get a market condition when the volatility has cooled down, and you're like, amazing. What do you want to see the market do? Okay. Every time there is a pullback, you have the opportunity to buy. And if it falls like a crazy maniac, you stay away. Okay, cool. I would just say that silver has no market at the moment. It is random. Look for what happens around 25 and look for what happens around 22. Okay, cool. US oil had a crazy move on the COT market. Not a crazy move, but let's call it crazy enough. It was seriously taking profit for buyers and seriously being sold off. TP from the market, I would say, first of all, but second of all, I would say that as a warning sign. But can it fall further than 35? Yeah, probably, because it's new lower low. Okie dokie. What drives oil? There you have global outlook. You need demand, also supply, and you need expectations, and then you need monetary policy. Okay, global outlook. What is a global outlook at the moment? It is not as good as positive as it was and it should be. So it's kind of plus minus. Demand. Is there more demand for oil now? We're going into winter season. Does that create more demand for oil? Yes. And more fuel. So that's rising. Supply. How's the supply going? There's this OPEC meeting soon about rate cuts. Are they going to keep those or are they not? So that's still a question mark. The expectations of growth in the market is upwards, and monetary policy is still supportive for this one to rise. So I would say that's rising. So generally speaking, you could look into this one rising. Generally speaking. But then you have to have market conditions and also technical analysis saying this is actually rising. At the moment, it doesn't. So you wait for this one to move. So let's go back and see in 2016, what did it do? November 5th, did it actually move? That's what I want to see here. 9th. Is that the election? Somewhere here. Yeah, not so much. Is that a candle? 148. Between 44 and 45. I think that's within the market, whatever. Within the market, within the reasonable market. Other than that. So, yeah. And then the other one was 2012. Like I can see that apparently. Daily range 2012. November, I think it was 3rd or 4th. So yeah, just within a normal range. So oil, if you're sitting oil, you might not be too scared of the US election. But hey, it has impact as well. So what are you looking at? You're looking for 40, what happens on 40, and what happens on 32. Does market continue to fall? Then you're more likely to sell it. Does market go above 130 or 36.50? You are allowed to look for buys again. But remember, this price around 37.50 and around 37.80 is sell zone. So you're going into resistance. Have that in mind. So I said major currency pairs didn't die. So I have gone through euro, where euro has had some profit taking. Pound, which also had some profit taking and some sellers. We've gone through US oil. Let's go to USDCAD. I want this one to fall. This has a relationship with US oil as well. And since US oil is falling, this one should rise. So it does. Okie dokie. It also has USD in it, and USD will, whatever the market will do with dollar and the election, that's also something to look out for. So I think, generally speaking, that you should be able to see what happens around 135 and 130. Maybe 130 is down there. 135. Okay. Round numbers. Cool. I'm going to wait and see. I'm not going to put my orders in there. I'm going to say wait and see what happens around those prices. Currently, not a market. It's just ranging. Not necessarily what else. Not necessarily what else, but apart from that, I don't have any trade plans for you. The trade plan is actually to wait until Tuesday. And then you can make a trade plan. And then you should have made a trade plan. What should my trade plan be? If it rises, I will follow the market. If it falls, I will follow the market. Okay? Whatever happens. I don't know what's going to happen. I just know I have trade plans for it. Have I traded US election before? Yes. So I have experience with it. Have you? That's up to you. I don't know. You can also do it on demo if you feel like you don't want to, but you want the experience of trading. New Zealand dollar and Australian dollars are the next ones. We had a discussion on Tuesday about if this was a reversal. Congratulations. Can't remember your name at the moment, Hardik. But yeah, cool. You were lucky, I would say. Other than that, you're right. Sorry if I was wrong. First to admit, good. But I don't find that to be a good strategy. I would like you to have better entries than that. The other part of that, did you sell here? That's better entry for me. Because what you're selling here is a new higher high. I would rather you to wait for that one. So you kind of got that one. That's a good sell. But now coming into the election, should you be in a such a sell? Depends. Other than that, what's the view for New Zealand dollar? I want this to rise. So I hope the election sends it up so I can catch the pullback. Okay. Other than that, I don't have any prices for you. Other than that, I don't have any specific. Maybe until Tuesday, Wednesday, probably most likely. We can do that on Wednesday. So what's really my view? I want this to rise. I want dollar to weaken with the election. So we shall see if that happens. If it doesn't happen, I don't care. Other than that, the market currently is dead. That's that. It's dead. Australian dollar, US dollar. I want this to rise, but I don't have the market conditions at the moment to do that. I hope the election is going to send it upwards. I also hope that it doesn't fall further. It could fall further, but it can also rise from here. So it's not necessarily bearish. This is kind of a range, but that's also a leg down. So yeah, doesn't matter. I still feel, well, so far sellers still have market conditions with it. So selling, 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 selling. At every time it came to the sell zone, it went a bit further down. So they seem to be the one in power. For New Zealand dollar for New Zealand dollar for the COT was 0 change, and for the Australian one, I really didn't put anything down there apparently. And then for Bitcoin, 0 change. I hope you have learned something today. So the takeaway for this webinar today is 1. Wait for big marketplace takes profit. They get out of the market before a large news event. So bank and liquidity providers goes out. There's going to be increased volatility, increased spreads, more expensive to trade. higher margin requirements in your account, is going to be much more expensive for you to trade. Okay. Also, brokers takes away the auto stop loss or margin call, so you can just lose and lose and lose and lose if you're wrong. Have that in mind. The other thing is that slippage. Slippage is when this market falls, you can't get out of the market. There's nobody on the other side to take you out. Okay, buy or sellers, buy or sellers. That's what the market does all the time. In any market condition, any marketplace, you need buyers and sellers for it and transaction to be there. So don't blame your brokers. If you choose to trade, it is your risk. You have been told about the risk, and they hope that you also understand the risk. Yes, there is potential to make money, but also potential to lose money just as equal. Okay? The other part to this takeaway is when you have such a large news event coming up in front of you, you want to be good and well in profit on your trades below, or you don't trade at all until it is clear. Because what the market really hates and investors hate is uncertainty. When we don't have a clear path, we don't know what to do. We then retrieve. That's what you should do as well. And market can go both ways. It can go in any way, and it can go as much as it wants. You can't control it, and you can't stop it. The only thing you can do is ride it and go with the flow. So, on that note, I hope you have a fantastic month of November. I hope that you will make a lot of profits. I'm expecting and hoping for dollar weakness. I don't know if I'm going to get it. It depends on the whatever happens in the election in America. We also have Brexit that can send the pound down again or up again, depending on whatever that happens. The ECB mostly going to have some more stimulus that's going to send the euro in a direction, and potential negative rates in Australia, New Zealand, and also UK. Have that in mind. There is still large market moving events still in the market, but yes, US election is the biggest one at the moment and the most uncertainty. Okay, cool, amazing. I hope that you have learned something new. I hope that you are now willing to prepare yourself for the election and have a good trade plan. So yeah, cool. Don't risk money you cannot afford to lose. And I hope to see you on the other side of the election as well, because that's where the fun is. Okay, cool. Boom.